Before you finalize that ticket, before you set that roster, you need the edge. Welcome to the 1 hour window that separates the winners from the losers. We're diving deep into the spreads, the over-unders, the value plays, and the sleepers you must start. Stop guessing and start winning. This is the Gridiron Gurus, providing the ultimate NFL advantage exclusively on the Empty the Bench Network.
Grant, I think you're muted.
That's my bad. I'm out of practice. Sorry, everybody. Kind of, getting back into the groove of things with this. But welcome back to the off-season edition of Gridiron Gurus. This is a show that'll run all throughout the year. But why don't we get into the topics here for today? How did you guys enjoy the Super Bowl? And I'm asking, the people that are watching, so hopefully we get some comments on that. But I mean, if I'm gonna say it, this Super Bowl was more defensive than offensive, despite both of these teams having powerhouse offenses. I do like that Kenneth Walker did get Super Bowl MVP. I mean, it makes sense because he had a majority of their yards for the game. I mean, Sam Darnold, I think, only threw for one touchdown, or was it two?
One.
It was one.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, Kenneth Walker should have had a touchdown of his own, but it was taken away because of a questionable holding call, if I'm being honest with you. I saw that replay of that hold, and it just looked like a normal block to me. And I'm not trying to gouge the Patriots fan in here, which of course is Ben.
Okay.
But I'm just saying.
I'm on an all-time high right now, so.
I'm just saying that looked like a normal block to me.
I mean, it was a hold, but it's something that barely gets called. For it being a guard or center.
I do feel like, with the way the game was going on, I definitely would have seen it more questionable. But Seattle really just kind of had control of the whole entire game. So,
And besides that flag, there was two other flags that game. So I think they were like, well, we need to call something here. We need to make this interesting, But
yeah.
That's just what I think. I think the announcer said that. I think the announcer said that there was barely any, holding calls or any penalty flags all game. So they're like, we need to call a flag or two right here.
Yeah.
So,
I will say though, if the Patriots did win, Christian Gonzalez was MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
He shut down JSN.
He shut down everything. Everything.
Yeah, dude, the dog. I freaking he definitely a great year. Definitely he's extension eligible coming up. I think it's not this offseason, but the offseason after. He loves playing for the Pats, and he's definitely going to be one of our key cornerstone pieces for the long term. And I mean, if Gonzo doesn't make a couple of those deep passing deflections, the game could have been out of reach earlier on in the game, and he came up big. Which
I'll tell you one thing, Ben. So every year there's a new Madden that comes out, and with that comes the new Madden cover every year. If they can recreate that one play where Sam Darnold tries to throw a deep ball to Shaheed for the Madden cover, that would be a sick Madden cover.
Oh, you're talking the deflection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that would be the Madden cover, but that would be one hell of a. Yeah, I'm not sure if that'll be the Madden cover, but that would be one great choice. I mean, the Super Bowl was 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. No, three.
It was the 8th, right? Yeah.
So it was 3 weeks ago, almost. No, it was 2 weeks ago. Jesus, I'm sorry. And it's kind of hard to talk about now because that was just so. It felt like that was a month ago. If I'm being honest with you, because with no football on Sundays, it just feels like it's been so long since football's been on. But like, how have these last couple weeks been for you guys? I mean, it feels weird, waking up on Sundays and not turning on NFL Network for Good Morning Football or NFL Today or whatever football shows are on during the NFL season. But we're not far from football being back, really, because there's an event that starts very soon that we will get into in a minute. But what are your guys' how do you guys feel with no football on for the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, first of all, for me, obviously it hurt in the moment, but maybe it's just, I don't want to come off as a spoiled way of saying this, but the way our team has been in the Super Bowl so many times, some of the losses have definitely hurt more than others. And like, I could obviously live off of a loss kind of like this, in which we just got dominated. And we had a specific team that nobody really expected us to get that far. And so, I definitely think if we build more pieces this offseason and, obviously give Drake Mason more offensive line protection, I think really in that game, the offensive and defensive fronts were the difference of the game. Because, obviously, Milton Williams reached far more in the postseason. They obviously had their moment in the Super Bowl, but the way we were going to have to win that game was to get some turnovers, and we got close. We got really, really close at times. I mean, obviously that first drive that Sam Darnold just threw an absolute seed to Barner, I think, and Marcus Jones was pretty much right there. Like, if that ball maybe just a little bit maybe close enough, like one way or another, that definitely would have been a pick six. I mean, because Marcus obviously has a lot of speed. But yeah, I mean, they really were Seattle pretty much their defensive line. That really just controlled it. I really had a lot of 7 Patriots PTSD, and then the ball in which the Giants completely just went off on Brady for the majority of the game. And Drake obviously wasn't great. But if you're going to blame Drake on this overall loss, absolutely, because the offensive line was not good. They're young too. It's a left-hand sided front that was just getting rushed left and right. Will Campbell had 14 pressures on him. I mean, as a left tackle, I understand you're a rookie, but if you have more than, let alone 5, let alone 10 pressures, to have 14 pressures on your left-hand side of your blind-sided quarterback, you're not going to win a lot of games. So, unfortunately, the offense really just kind of fell apart in the postseason against the better competition. And, of course, a couple days after, well, see, this is what happens when you play a real schedule. And I'm just like, it just kind of was whatever to me.
It's a scapegoat.
Yeah. But by the end of, obviously, again, it's obviously why I have this flag right here a little bit. But, my emotions obviously definitely hurt in the moment. But it honestly kind of went past, passed away in a little bit. Seattle obviously was trying to revenge us from the Super Bowl 49. They were a better team. I think they were the better team the whole entire postseason. But I do like the fight that we had for a lot of the game. We just did not capitalize really on both sides to make an attempt. I mean, even if the Drake May throw to Matt Collins for the touchdown, and then, of course, he had to pass the following drive, and then the pick was just, I don't know what he was doing there. So it just never really just kind of came together, compared to what they were really doing in the regular season. But I do think, if they get out, like I said, they have a lot of cap space. I do, take a look at a guy like A.J. Brown at receiver, definitely try to give him a number prime one, receiver one position. If not him, of course, go to the draft. I do think we're going to have to get younger. A guy like Stephon Diggs, I did like Diggs a lot in the season, but he did obviously disappear quite a bit in the postseason. But a lot of guys really did not do much offense. I mean, Trevion Henderson I thought was okay here and there, but it'll be a really good future though for the Pats. Definitely they finally will have the quarterback. They got the head coach. Even after the game was over, Mike Brill obviously had the guys, of course, with their heads on their heads. You could obviously look at Mike Brill and saying, well, woulda, coulda, shoulda, but he went over to every single player and pretty much after like every game, win or lose, and
gave him a high five.
And, yeah, I just thought that was really, really cool. So
that's a stand-up coach. That's a stand-up coach.
Yeah, I'm really, really proud of the team. Obviously, yeah, we lost the Super Bowl. It sucks, but all in all, if you told me that this team is going to make the Super Bowl, I'd call it winning success. I mean, I hate to be kind of like that loser mentality, but the team wasn't supposed to make it, and hopefully they can kind of keep bouncing because they got a much tougher schedule next year. And if they got pieces, this team definitely will be competitive for a long period of time, and I think that's awesome to see. But I do want to congratulate Seattle. I did congratulate a lot of people on social media. Really good fan base. Like I mentioned, JSN, I can finally go back to liking you again. Because he's one of my guys, an Ohio State fan, and they got a lot of good players over there. So it was a good Super Bowl for them. Not as much for us, but it was all in all, I think, a pretty good season that we had.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. What about you, Michael? I mean, anything to add on that?
No, I mean, there's not much to add, but yeah, what Ben said, the offense is kind of like they were good. Like what you said about Diggs is like he's either in the game or he'll get one catch, maybe for 2 yards or 8 yards. Like something like that where Diggs is not what he was in Buffalo or Minnesota anymore, just because he's older.
Yeah,
he's older. He's
not
a lot older.
to be a number one target anymore. Like if he can come back and he takes a premium discount, in which the Patriots have done in the past years, and he's welcome to just kind of embody the way he likes Vrabel and being a number two, but behind the next wide receiver one, whether it's via trade, whether it's free agency. A name that I really kind of looked at that I don't know if he's going to get moved, but I feel like he definitely has some wide receiver one capables is Michael Pittman Jr. from the Indianapolis Colts. And people don't think he's going to get moved, but the Colts are kind of in a tough situation right now where Alec Pierce is a free agent. So they probably going to try to see what they can do to resign him. Tyler Warren is another player that they have to kind of keep intact. So they're going to have to make a tough decision.
And they also traded 2 first-round draft picks for Sauce Gardner. So you're gonna need to find ways to get some cap space. And
then another guy I'm curious about is the Arizona Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. A guy in which
that's a good one.
We obviously passed up on, which a guy I liked. The Cardinals obviously in a really tough position. I mean, Kyler's going to get traded. I think pretty much that's kind of, I wouldn't say guaranteed, but it feels pretty much inevitable at this point in time.
I agree. And I do think it's going to be to a team that someone on the network does not like or does like, and he's going to be upset. But I will not. Michael, I wasn't trying to say who it was.
I'll say it.
Kyler, to me, I don't know what it is. I could definitely see a team like the Vikings. Like the Vikings, I feel like are kind of in a position right now where like they need a quarterback battle. I just don't know if JJ McCarthy is like guaranteed to be the guy long term. And Kyler, I feel like is kind of a guy in which he's kind of like Russell Wilson. Like for a fact that there is stuff still in the tank for him, but it's not. You don't know if it's going to be still his best. If that kind of makes sense.
Tyler's kind of that guy where like he needs like that top receiver in the league.
And the thing about
you go to the Vikings, you got Jettas, like how he had D-Hop. That was his best year with D-Hop.
And Kyler too, like he can go to a really good offensive coordinator position with Kevin O'Connell. The Cardinals really have not had an offensive-minded kind of coach for Kyler in a long period of time, and there was some moments early on his career that I'm like, holy crap, like this could be a top 10 quarterback that we're looking at. Remember that there's that like crazy phase that Kyler Murray honestly looked at as like one of the top quarterbacks in this league. Like there was a time a couple of years ago, and
2020.
like now now it's like the guy either can't stay on the field or he's just. And I don't want to use a small quarterback like situation because I know a lot of people want to kind of harp on, oh, I need a big quarterback. Like Kyler has speed and he has a pretty good arm for what he has as an overall size. It might just be just finding the right system.
Yeah.
And I mean, if Kyler Murray goes to Minnesota, he would go to Justin Jefferson,
Jordan Addison,
and
Hawkinson. But I don't know if Hawkinson.
There's pieces there.
Yeah. Well, Jordan Addison, if he can stay out of trouble, but
yeah, that's a good point. But that's a. I mean, there's definitely going to be some quarterback movement because of the fact that this quarterback class is not pretty.
Besides the top two, I would say.
I mean, Mendoza will go one. I will say that he will be going to the Raiders, even though Clint Kubiak has not come out and said it. I mean, there's nothing that you can offer the Raiders to get the number one pick. It's not being moved. I'm sorry. It's not being moved for all those people that are hoping that your team trades up to number one. It's not happening. It's just Mendoza's going to one. Clint Kubiak is going to have his quarterback for the next 20 years, probably. Hopefully. But I would even just say that the top one is the only like high quality one because I don't know who I put underneath Mendoza. And Mendoza is not throwing at the combine, which actually perfectly goes into our next topic. The combine starts Tuesday. And it's funny. So Mendoza is not throwing at the combine. He'll go and do meetings. But his pro day is April 1st, which I kind of think is a little funny because he's not throwing at the combine, and his pro day is April 1st, which everyone knows is National Joke Day. So I don't think this is gonna happen, but wouldn't it be funny if he says he's throwing on April 1st and he's not gonna throw on April 1st because
I don't feel like Fernando was the type of guy that's gonna say.
No, yeah. I don't either. I just think that's funny that of all days, his pro day is April 1st, National Joke Day.
Yeah.
But this is also a day for other players to showcase their talent. Well, it's actually like a week actually because it like I think drills start Thursday.
I think they're like Wednesday.
They went Wednesday.
I probably say like Wednesday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the team's like media interviews, not with players, but like the combine interviews with coaches and general managers, that starts Tuesday. So that's why I just put the national combine starts Tuesday. But I think you're right. I think the drills do start Wednesday or Thursday, one or the other. But this is a great year for edges and like defensive tackles and
it's a big defensive draft class.
Yeah, it's a big defensive draft class, which is great for
O-line. O-line's pretty solid too, this one.
Oh, that's good to know. We probably for mine and Michael's respective team, which is the Bears, if none of you can tell, which I'm pretty sure you could tell, because I have a Bears background and Michael is wearing a Bears sweatshirt. I am not, but and Ben is wearing a Pat sweatshirt.
USA colors, the vibes.
I mean, but Ben, you're based on your coaching staff and your scouting department. Even at 31, you're destined to get a home run of a pick. And
sure.
I think that there's an argument for the Bears to do that as well because I mean last year it was primarily offense, and we hit on most of them. I mean, we hit on Colston Loveland, we hit on Luther Burden, we eventually
hit on Ozzie.
We eventually hit on Ozzie. We hit on Kyle Monungai. Now it's going to be about Dennis Allen and making sure that we get him his players, in free agency and in the draft, because we need defensive help. If I was the Bears, I would literally target edge, defensive tackle, and safety. And there's some good safeties in this draft. I mean, there's
Caleb Downs won't fall to us, unfortunately.
No, he won't. He won't. He will. There's a possibility. I'm going to say this. I think Caleb Downs goes top 5.
I was just about to say that. I think he goes top 5. I mean, he's just that type of player.
But there's an argument to say that we could get a quality safety, possibly at 25 if that's the best course of action, or at 57. I would look at guys like the guy from Toledo. He's got 3 names for his full name. I can't think of what it is. Dylan Thieneman or something from Oregon is another guy that I'd look at. Those are like the top 2 that I can think off the top of my head. But I think we could get one of them. But 2 guys that I would think of for like the defensive tackle area would be Caleb Downs or
he's a stud.
Or the guy from Ohio State. What's his name?
Can't go wrong with Ohio State.
No, defensive tackle. McDonald is his last name or something. Kalen. His number's 98. That's what I can remember that. I just don't know how to say his name. But the next couple of days are pretty important for players that are coming out for the draft, because the NFL Combine can either raise your draft stock or plummet your draft stock. I mean,
Zach Wilson.
And honestly, I'm going to say this: when Zach Wilson was drafted, when he was walking up on stage, he looked like a 15-year-old. It's crazy. I mean, but seriously, Zach Wilson's draft stock rose because of one throw at his pro day. One throw. And
sounds about right.
And it was literally, and I mean, it was a great throw. I actually watched his pro day, but you can't bank on that happening, first of all, with the Jets, because they have nothing that will help the quarterback. Sorry for all Jet fans that watch this, and also sorry to Nick, who is a Jets fan, for the harassment of the Jets, but it's just so easy. And he had no one in his face. If you have no one in your face, you can make any throw in the history of football. I mean, it's when it's at a pro day, you're not trying to get tackled by anyone. So it's a little different than actually being in game. But I mean, what are you guys looking for, in terms of the combine?
I'll go first here, and then I'll let Ben go.
Yeah.
As of right now, Bears still have their first overall pick. So I'm looking for defensive right now, but I hope we trade it and go get someone, or we sign Trey Hendrickson, like stuff like that. But as of right now, I'm looking defensive line, some linebackers. I don't think we need a corner in the first round, at least. Maybe that's like a second round type of thing. And then obviously looking for safeties, you gotta get a safety. And then maybe like a late tackle, like late in the round, maybe we get a steal at tackle for Ozzie.
Round, something like that.
Yeah, for Ozzie, because Ozzie's injury, you have a 25% chance of not playing again, 50% chance of coming back and being okay, and then 25% chance of okay, he's back to what he was and even better. That's his injury right now. So
I'm gonna say this. I think it's totally plausible to say that he won't touch the field next year.
I don't think he will. I don't think there's a shot. I don't think they risk it for that, unless maybe it's the Super Bowl. But then again, if we make it to the Super Bowl, I would just keep our O-line that we have out there, like no matter who it is. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Ben, you can go see what your team's looking for.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, one of the downs about being the Super Bowl is you're going to have a later draft pick.
We're the Bears weren't in the Super Bowl, and we're picking at 25. So it's just...
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But listen, I've been used to having. I mean, really for us, I like our defense. I mean, I really think we're going to go really more hard offensively in the draft. I mean, I do think a guy like Kavon Chason, who put out an Instagram tweet yesterday saying that he's back. I don't know because he's a free agent. I don't know if that means he's actually going to get them back, but he hopefully it will be just kind of like a short-term type of deal. Because if he goes out to the market, he definitely would be overpaid. Offensively, though, wide receiver. I do think getting Kyle Williams last year was really good. Pickup that they got.
I like him for you guys.
There was a couple of guys in the late for receiver. USC had a really good player Beckton or something. I have to take a look really quick. And then Casey Conopin or whatever from Texas A&M. I saw a lot of his tape. He's definitely somebody that I'd definitely be curious to see if they go after him. Offensive line too. This is just not really a big class for me that I'm not really aware of the players. So, I mean, I just think looking at position for the draft, I think better for us is definitely probably, wide receiver, I'd say is probably number 2, but definitely offensive line first. I do think I don't really think they're going to go Will Campbell to guard. I do think he's more of a guard. Jared Wilson played left guard for us all year, and he's more of a center. And Bradbury, I don't know if he's going to be free agent this offseason, but if he walks, you probably could put Wilson over to center and then, draft a left tackle. I think the right-hand side also definitely be curious. I mean, you have Onwenu at right guard, Moses at right tackle. But there's just a lot of moving pieces. I mean, Moses, I think, is going to be a free agent.
No, he signed a 3-year deal. So you got it for a couple of years.
Moses?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do think there's going to be a lot of guys, though, that I think the Patriots are going to make a lot of, really, I wouldn't say surprising cuts, but I do think there's going to be some names. Look at a guy like Stephon Diggs, who has a payout after his first year in terms of, they could obviously
4 years.
cut that money if they really want to. But, I think probably offensive line, if I had to guess, and then probably get receiver. Tight end is also kind of like an underrated position. I just think our tight ends need to be a little more younger and faster. And it's not a knock on Hunter Henry, but he's more of a tight end too to me now. And Austin Hooper is he's just so slow. I mean, if he comes back, definitely, take him on like a 1-year deal, very cheap. Those are tight end 3. So, and obviously, my dream guy is Kyle Pitts from the Falcons. I doubt the Falcons obviously are going to move on from him. Isaiah Likely, I think, is kind of more of a wild card to me. I don't know about his physicality. I know he's obviously very, very good.
I actually have a spot for Likely if he becomes a free agent.
Where is he likely
to go? I've been saying the Chiefs. I've been saying the Chiefs all year.
Grant, where would he likely go then?
Michael said it. Michael said it.
I knew what you were going to say. I've been saying it all year.
Because let me just say this. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but there is a possibility that Kelce doesn't come back. So let's just say that
I think he might if Kyrie comes back though.
There is a possibility, but let's just say the possibility plays out where Kelce doesn't come back. They need a starting tight end, and likely when Mark Andrews isn't in there, Isaiah Likely is a beast. I mean, he it's like they're not even missing Mark Andrews.
They're two different type of guys, but I do think their production is very similar.
Very similar. Very similar. I understand that they're not the same, but I do think Likely would be a very plausible and realistic replacement for Kelsey if it were to happen. Now, knowing Mahomes and knowing everything about him, if he can return for week 1, Kelsey will be back in some form.
I honestly want to roll him out even if Mahomes comes back a couple weeks after. Like, if Mahomes and Kelsey are this close, like, if Mahomes has a pretty good idea of when he can come back and they get a guy via the draft or get a tight end too that, could be very serviceable, it wouldn't roll me out because I don't know if Kelsey is tight end 1 material, really, to be honest, anymore. I feel like this past year he was a lot slower. It's not a knock on him. I mean, he reminded me, Gronk, as good as Gronk was, definitely towards the end, they had to rely on, like, another guy with them. So
that's when they started relying on Otten with the Bucks.
Yeah. So
Otten is literally a great.
He's a free agent this offseason too. He's
you get that
one of the most underrated free agents out there.
Yeah. And like if Kelsey stays, they draft a wide or tight end or get a guy, you get that mentor in Travis Kelsey, which that's what you need. And then even if Mahomes
is that great. I don't really know a lot of tight ends, to be honest, this year in the draft.
I don't either.
I mean, you have Kyle Pitts, you got Likely, and Njoku too. I think Njoku, to me, that's really the guy I want the Patriots to get because I think I want to have a guy that's premium blocking and receiving. As my 10 and 1. I like Likely a lot, and I do think he's likely, no pun intended there. I literally wanted to kind of go through this without saying a pun there, but I had to.
Yeah.
But
hey, man, if you can make the pun football related, go ahead. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I told Grant, I said, where is likely gonna go to next? And I don't know if he ended up not hearing it or.
I didn't notice that at all.
Well, actually, see, sometimes when you're talking, your voice kind of like cuts out for a second. So I think there's a possibility that you might have said that when your voice can't cut out. But I love the pun, man. I love it.
Fun. But yeah, I just think for us, it's going to be offensive line and receiver.
I can totally see that. I
think the Pats they'll look at their board and they'll be like, who's the best available? I feel like that's what they're gonna do.
Because
we're gonna have a very similar offseason. Like, remember the offseason we got Matt Judon. We had a lot of big time free agent people. I think we're gonna spend quite a bit now because we have the foundation of quarterback and coach. Last couple of years we really couldn't buy because we didn't know in terms of what our answer was. Now we have the answer. So what the answer would be is, Max Crosby, if you are out there and
come to the Bears. Oh, okay.
I really thought you were gonna say that because Max Crosby and the Bears smoke. There has been some stuff there,
dude.
There has been even Max Crosby even had him on his podcast.
He had Caleb on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't say who him was, but
and Max Crosby is also a very big social media guy. So he's very similar to Micah Parsons when it comes to if there's anything that happens that's cryptic out there, take it. Obviously take it for granted. Take it with a grain of salt. But I don't think he gets traded. I really just don't see it happen until I see it. It's kind of like the market stuff, but there's going to be GMs are down the phone saying, listen, we're going to try to do what we can so-and-so. I mean, did anybody expect Mike to get traded?
No.
Not really, right?
Let me say this. I would have been happy for him if it was any place other than the Packers.
There's also a team that I'm looking at for Crosby, and I would hate it as a Pats fan.
The Bills?
The Bills, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. The Bills, to me, I feel like just need more of a pass rushing. I mean, they obviously have had Oliver, but if they got an edge
They
guy,
need someone on the edge. Ed Oliver is the DT.
Crosby would give. I mean, he could honestly, with a move like that, can honestly put the Bills as the perennial favorite. I wouldn't say perennial favorite to the AFC, but you look at the Micah Parsons, defense. Obviously, without him, you saw the Packers defense kind of went apart, right? So, obviously, a lot of times in sports, it's like, well, one guy really can't carry you. There are some guys out there.
There are some.
Crosby is one of those guys that definitely can carry a defense, and there's just there's nobody like him.
Yeah, but
going into the next topic. Jamal, or wait, no, who's the Michael? What's the Dallas Cowboys running back's name?
Javonte Williams.
I almost said Jameel Williams. Javonte Williams yesterday or the day before signed a 3-year, $24 million extension with the Cowboys, and he had a stellar year.
Well deserved.
It is a well-deserved extension. And I really like that for him. I mean, it's $8 million per year. That's a respectable number for running backs. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's the sweet spot, I think. So that's good for him. Aside from that, there hasn't been like many big extensions in terms of player extensions, but players returning is where I actually really want to get into this here. Lane Johnson is coming back for one more year at least, which is very, very. It's going to be very helpful for the Eagles because they have another new offensive coordinator. So someone on the offensive line that has been with the Eagles for all of his career is very important. And then another notable name that is going to come back, but is exploring his options is Mike Evans.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mike Evans, signed a 2-year extension with the Bucks 2 years ago, and he everyone knew he was coming back. It was just he said that he was exploring his options also at that time. So I mean, I think that he'll be back with the Bucks. It's just they need to figure out a respectable number because at the time of his last extension, it was 2 years, $52 million. And Mike Evans is now, I have to look up.
I'll look it up.
No, I'm looking it up. It's fine.
I think he's 34 or 33.
Right now, Mike Evans is
32.
32.
Yep.
So, I mean, technically, there is an argument to say that he's got at least 3 years left of football. But he's also,
hamstrings.
He's dealt with some gruesome injuries, for sure. And I just, if I was Mike Evans, I would probably see if you could play one more year at a high level, and then. So maybe how about this? If I were the Bucks and you want Mike Evans back because Mike Evans is just that type of player, front load his contract and maybe give him another 2-year deal, but give him a deal that's front loaded so he gets a big chunk of money in this upcoming year. And see how he plays this year, and if next year his cap hits goes from $20 million to something like $8 million, let him go and see if he decides to quit or go somewhere else. I mean, regardless, all Bucs fans, you need to know that regardless of what happens, he will retire a Buccaneer because he's played 100% of his career so far with the Bucs, and he's also been the guy that had 1,000-yard seasons every year until this past year because of his injuries. And to be honest with you, the year before that, he was very close to not getting it. He was one play away from not getting it, but he got it because Baker Mayfield knew it was up. So, I mean, that's the most news on players returning and player extensions.
There is. I saw Mahomes.
Oh yes,
he
Mahomes.
got that cap cut from like 78 million to like what was it, 30 million or something.
Yeah, it's crazy. They
I don't know how you do that.
They freed up $43.56 million by restructuring Mahomes' contract. But here's the thing that really sucks about that.
They're still in debt.
You do that this year, and it may look good this year, but then his cap hit next year is going to be like $80 million. And see, in the moment when they signed him to his 10-year, $500 million deal, it looked awesome. But every year, in order to consistently stay competitive like they've done aside from this past year, they'll have to do that for the next it's only been 4 years since he's
I was just about to say 6 years.
They'll have to do that for the next 6 years so they can keep being competitive. But there's also a big question mark with someone else in Kansas City that's not named Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. It's Andy Reid, because Andy Reid is in his 60s. He's 60. If it's one number, I'm not saying it, but let me look it up.
Let's see if that's specifically the number. Oh, yep. You might have to say it, Grant.
67.
Damn it! I have to say it. He's 67 years old. I am not doing the movement, but
come on, Grant.
I'm not doing it. I hate it. So I'm not doing it. But since he's 67 years old, there, you got it twice for me. He would be if he were to coach the rest of Mahomes' contract, he would be 73 years old. There's only one coach in the history of football that has coached that long, and his name is Bill Belichick. And I respect Bill Belichick, but my thing is, I don't know if I can see Andy Reid coaching that long. If he keeps winning, possibly, sure. But if he has another 2 years of what happened last year, I don't know. I mean, personally, Andy Reid will coach until he doesn't want to anymore. And he's one of those coaches that just seems like a coach that would say, I want to die on the sideline. I'm not gonna retire until I don't want to, until I want to. But like, if I'm a coach or a player, I want to walk off the field in my own power, all that stuff. I don't want to be in a wheelchair, being pushed off on, but that's kind of a cliche because I am in a wheelchair, but you get what I'm saying for all the people that are watching, which hopefully people watch this. But as long as Andy Reid's coaching, Mahomes will play and they'll figure out restructures for his contract every year. But in the moment, the contract was awesome. But now, looking back at it, they probably could have made a little bit of a smarter decision. I mean, the next topic. I mean, we skip over the next topic actually, because we kind of talked about free agents that could.
Yeah.
I mean, big names at least. I don't know any other like huge big names. So might want to.
You were talking about Bill Belichick. Did we ever talk about the Belichick and Robert Kraft not getting first ballot? for the Hall of Fame.
No, we didn't.
We did not. Let's go into that right now.
So, Ben, I'm going to hand that over to you because you're the Patriots fan. You're the Patriots fan here. I'm going to let you have some free reign of that because I mean, it is disrespectful. I will say that, but you know Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft more than I do. So,
okay, so I remember exactly where I was for the Belichick. Them getting snubbed. I was actually listening to a New York sports radio show after picking my brother up, and they obviously doing a show, and they finally get into a headline, and one of the anchors basically said, "We got some breaking news." And it said, Bill Belichick, according to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, did not get first ballot. And I'm driving. Now I'm driving, at this point in the situation. So I wanted to kind of keep my cool.
You wanted to keep your cool, but
I was kind of more in of did I hear that right? Did I hear Bill Belichick was not the first ballot Hall of Famer? So I get back.
That's crazy because isn't Tom Brady a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Not yet.
They haven't announced it yet. So basically, I got home, got back to my crib. The first thing ESPN had, CBS had, was all Bill Belichick with the first ballot Hall of Famer. Because
did you go into your room and scream into your pillow?
No. I was just more confused and shocked, and more of are these people idiots more than anything? I mean, granted, you could say the cheating, this and that. Are they really going to put it against him? Maybe, I don't know. But this guy has 8 Super Bowl rings on his finger. Brady said it himself. Kraft has said himself. All these people, all the Patriot haters, Patriots fans, everybody at least is coming to this conclusion that if Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then who is? Who is specifically out there? There are some guys out there that are first ballot Hall of Famers that shouldn't be. But you're telling me that the greatest coach of all time, even if I was a New York Jets fan, which the fact I'm saying that right now would make me want to vomit. But if I was a Patriots hater, I could at least sit here and say, okay, let me take my bias aside, my unbiased aside, and say, okay, this is actually ridiculous. I even, as a hater, could say, okay, Bill Belichick is a first ballot Hall of Famer. What are we doing here? This guy has 8 rings. He's won
31 playoff wins.
Super Bowls with the greatest dynasty in football. I don't care what people want to say. Chiefs fans.
No, you're right. You're right.
Don't cry in your corner if you want to.
Are the greatest dynasty in football.
Thank you, Grant. But anyway, So Bill Belichick, he got snubbed. It's complete. I mean, I could go on for the rest of this show talking about it, but I'd rather not be upset more. I am just completely and it happened right around the Super Bowl, and I'm thinking to myself, well, wouldn't it be just great to see the Patriots win this game as underdog and then all that stuff? Of course, unfortunately, it didn't happen. But then you got Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft got the notification from Adam Schefter there, and I'm just sitting there. I didn't even get mad. I just laughed. I'm like, all right, so there has to be something there, because there was a little bit of I want to say hatred between Kraft and Belichick. But remember,
in the end specifically, but
a lot of people, non-Patriots fans obviously kind of saw the departure of Brady, of course, going to Tampa, and Belichick and Kraft. Who is it? Part of this and that. We obviously don't have to get into that, but Kraft, of course, he had his issues, of course, off the field. I'm obviously not getting into that, but the NFL voting is a joke. The Pro Football Hall of Fame, I will never look at it ever the same again. I want to go to the Canton Football Hall of Fame, but you are trying to ruin essentially what you have.
I've been to the Hall of Fame actually,
because you essentially are snubbing 2 of the greatest pillars in NFL.
Not 2 of, probably the 2. The 2 greatest.
Yeah. And now, I can even say myself, the crazy part is now I can't even guarantee if Tom Brady is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean,
he's not. If he's not, the NFL is rigged. the
fact that I even have to have that coming out of my mouth, that Tom Brady might meet a first ballot Hall of Famer, is completely like, what are we doing here? But if you told me that Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft were going to be first ballot Hall of Famers, yeah, that's awesome. Congrats. This is not a surprise. But they didn't. So now it's like, now what? Like, how much? Now it's completely like, as the snow is completely falling down. That's what the Football Hall of Fame is doing. It's falling down on its earth right now. So, as a New Englander, I sit here and say, shame on you, shame on the committee. It's completely ludicrous. I
love your word choice there. I love it.
Stephen A. Smith was saying stuff like, even people that like reporters and fans, people that don't even care for, everybody pretty much was all into agreement. So if you pretty much get everybody into agreement, I think maybe Rob Parker is like the only one, but Rob Parker is an idiot. Like, this guy can basically screw himself over. I mean, he's just. But anyway, even Nick Wright, all these guys, Bill Belichick is going to get in the Football Hall of Fame. I mean, there's obviously it's going to happen. But are you going to tell me that now since I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer, what the magnitude of being first ballot and not being first ballot is it's much different.
Yeah.
So first ballot pretty much just holds more. It holds legacies. It holds everything. And the fact that you don't have two guys that have legacy numbers as a coach, as an owner, especially now after the owner just brought your team back to the Super Bowl without the GOAT. The GOAT essentially left your organization. He won a Super Bowl there. There's not many organizations that can say that.
I'm going to say something. Without the two GOATs, Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. And I don't think it's close. And I'm not a Patriots fan. And
I like to hear that.
Tom Brady obviously is the GOAT.
Bears fans specifically, Packer fans might say Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers is not even close. So
no.
What are you doing?
No.
Maybe the most
Tom Brady will forever be known as the greatest of all time in football. I do think, however, and I might get clowned for this.
You're good.
I do think, however, there are better announcers. I do not like Brady as an announcer, which really hurts me because if you're the GOAT of football, you should be the GOAT of broadcasting. Also.
That's not necessarily
Grant. That hurts. That hurts. Brady loves us.
Well,
Brady loves us.
Brady give you guys the most
exactly. I think Brady is. I think he's one of the best announcers.
I'm just saying. I think that when you're the GOAT of football, who has known how to beat everybody, you should be. I think that Tom Brady, if he was the GOAT announcer, should be like Tony Romo. I'm not saying that Tony Romo is the greatest announcer, but Tony Romo can diagnose plays before they happen. And
I just don't think Tom Brady wants to do that.
I respectfully disagree, Grant. And this is not me being a biased homer here. I think Tony Romo kind of lost his touch, kind of at the end of the NFL season. I felt like he was getting really, really just dragging on in terms of what he wants to say. Yeah, granted, obviously Brady, of course, has had that moment, but Brady, the thing about Tom is he brought some. I felt like his first year he did struggle. I kind of ride with Grant the first year, but it's going to happen as your first year trying something new. Even the best of the best. For me, I'm not the best at cooking. Now I'm kind of starting to get better. I mean, my air fryer obviously is awesome, but cooking for me is not obviously my first big thing I liked. So now, of course, I'm getting better at it. If you give Tom a couple years, he's already called some of the biggest games of the NFL season.
That's true.
The Bears Packers game, the reactions on some of the things,
I like his reactions. I mean, his reactions make me know that there is going to be a big play happening or a possible big play, but
there's not many announcers that can do that because Tom was a coach on the field. He's dissected every type of coverage, every type of, weather. I mean, look at the football and the weather. He basically went out of his mind when Bill Nye with the freaking football in the booth and pretty much showing to younger kids how to throw a football, basically with certain angles and stuff in inclement weather. Like you can't. There's nobody else that I look at. I'm like, even if I was not even my quarterback for 20 years, I'm looking at that like, dude, you're freaking mastermind. Like, that's crazy. It was a game, Brock Purdy. I think it was the Niners. I think the Niners Eagles, maybe. I don't know. But I looked at that. I'm like, man, because Tony Romo is a good announcer, but I do think you need as an announcer kind of have like your own like way of showing the story. Being a broadcaster, I was a broadcaster in college, Greg and Michael, and so the way broadcasting for me went when I did play-by-play in color. Play-by-play is basically the person that is telling the story of the game, and the color guy is somebody that should be kind of analyzing with the play-by-play guy. They shouldn't be the ones that should be able to take it over the mic because that's happened before. So if you're able to get, Burkhardt is a very, very good guy in terms of talking about the play, what exactly happened. Tom obviously will kind of have his, right? But Tom is really good in terms of just seeing it from a different perspective that Kevin does. Because Tom was a player. Kevin's always been a broadcaster. Like, you need that. And Tony Romo obviously has had that too. And Nance is kind of more of one of the greatest broadcasters of all time. He is my goat, is Jay Nance. But like, Grant, could you kind of get to like where I was getting at least in a way?
I understand.
As long as it's not Troy Aikman, I could care less.
Yeah.
No, it's not Aikman.
I thought the Monday night. A lot of people were really upset about Brock and Aikman for Monday Night Football. Like, I actually thought they did a pretty good job. Because Monday Night Football, there's a lot of crappy games. So if you got a lot of crappy games but not great announcers, it just makes the game even worse. So if I'm sitting there on a Monday Night Football game and I at least get the chance to hear a Guy and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, watching, I don't know, the Jets and the Panthers, even though that probably would never be a Monday night game. Heck, crazy things have happened. Like, at least I could be like, all right, I can hear the background.
If that is a Monday night game, I guarantee you no one's watching it.
As long as it's not Troy Aikman with the Bears, I'm okay with.
So we got a couple more topics to go into.
Let's go into the last one.
All right. Because
we kind of went over this.
Yeah. So the Bears are expected to move to Indiana. They've had a feud with Illinois for the last 4 years with building their stadium in Illinois, and so Indiana passed a bill where they'd move to Indiana, and everyone that is going to start clowning the Bears and calling them the Indiana Bears, for the record, they technically could still be called the Chicago Bears because there are teams that say they play in a certain state that don't. For example, New York, the Jets and Giants do not play in New York. My
college friends always joke and say they're the New Jersey Giants and Jets.
Yeah.
The San Francisco 49ers play in Santa Clara, something like that.
They always play in the same state though.
But so the Bears are supposed to move to Hammond, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I have no.
It is.
I'm not a big Indiana fan.
No.
But
it is right on the border. You're technically still in the city of Chicago. It is still. Okay. It is literally.
It's 20 minutes from where Arlington Heights is. It's not even that far.
It's 20 minutes from Chicago. You could still see the Chicago skyline in the back. So you're technically still in the city.
I hate that. I don't know why.
But so here was the big thing. So they were supposed to move to Arlington Heights, right? They bought this land for.
You're saying about that, early on the season, yeah.
Yeah, they bought this land. They're supposed to move to Arlington Heights. The Bears told the governor, J.B. Pritzker, that they will pay for the stadium. They'll pay for the $2 billion, $3 billion, whatever it is for the stadium. They just want the infrastructure. So they want all the plumbing, the roads, the street lights, all that.
Yeah.
Illinois said no. So the Indiana governor said, we'll take care of all that. You guys pay for the stadium. There's 3 spots right here. There's Gary, Indiana, Hammond, and then there was another one.
I know Gary,
And so they had a meeting. The Bears just had a meeting with the state of Illinois about moving to Arlington Heights, and they want to tax the Bears 5 times the amount of what California taxes SoFi Stadium.
Oh my! Oh,
so it is.
It's funny because SoFi Stadium is the Super Bowl next year, so it's almost ironic.
So technically, what the state of Illinois is doing is they are ruining themselves from Super Bowls. They're ruining the Bears from making more money by having 30,000 more seats, because we have the smallest stadium right now. We can hold 61,000. We can't host a Super Bowl. So it's just they're just being dumb. The state of Indiana is being very smart with this. They get two teams basically, but I mean they'll still be the Chicago Bears no matter what. So because you're not going to switch your name after 100.
They'll keep the same logo to them too, right?
Yeah. It's all the same people. It's just
on the border. It reminds me, and I hate to cross sports, but I live about 10, 15 minutes away from the AAA farm team of the New York Islanders, the Bridgeport Islanders.
Yeah.
You guys aren't really big hockey fans, but you guys know the New York Islanders?
Yep.
So, their farm team is about 10, 15 minutes away from it. And when I was a little kid, I used to go to their games my whole entire life. And unfortunately, the last couple of years, they've had a really, really hard time with attendance. And there's a baseball team that was next door in Bridgeport that was an independent baseball league in which there's a lot of players from Major League Baseball that pretty much would play in this league if they couldn't go farther pro. So that team essentially left down south. And so pretty much what I was only holding on for 10, 15 minutes was a minor league hockey team. That was about not far from me. And I actually worked with that team a couple of years ago. And so it even means more to me, the fact I got to work with this team for full season. And
awesome.
The reason why I'm talking about this is the moving part of it. Of course, moving a team that just means a lot. Connecticut really doesn't have a full-on pro sports team, but we have a lot of minor league teams. I mean, we obviously have UConn, which is obviously capital of the world for college basketball, and I'll stand by that. I don't care. But we have the Connecticut.
You have a fair argument.
We have Connecticut Sun, WNBA, and our state, but I don't know. It's not really much of that. So we really, Bridgeport is a big part to Southern Connecticut. And we're going to get a soccer team coming up pretty soon, which will be kind of cool, but this is going to be a big loss. So they're going to be moving to Ontario because of fans. They're obviously lacking a lot in that. So it kind of when you guys are talking about kind of the moving infrastructure and all that type of stuff, really with this overall type of situation, they're moving, they're very moving similarly, but it's just in two different type of avenues. And so it never is awesome to see just an overall thing that's so bittersweet. And hopefully that you guys stay, in Chicago, because it's one of the best cities out there. I think for Bears fans as well.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I
think it's pretty set in stone that we're gonna move. It's just a matter of when and getting the shovel in the ground, because that's what really matters.
Well, I will say, for your sake of things, then, if you guys get the chance this year, and with the way that we're back to the first half of the show in the Super Bowl, and I put this graphic out that the last 2 Super Bowl champs, 10 years beforehand, lost the specific Super Bowl that they were just in. So the Chicago Bears, they lost against the Indianapolis Colts about 10 years ago from now?
Yeah.
20.
Okay. Well, it's still within a decade century. So, if obviously the Seattle, of course, lost to, I think it was the Steelers. They beat the Patriots, and now we're kind of on a weird ass trend. I mean, I'm very superstitious on it, but you guys are right there this year, and I'd love to see you guys win one. I really would, especially for your city, especially if you guys end up moving. Patriots were just in the Super Bowl. Of course, if we're back there, get the chance to play you guys, we won't be friends for a night, but outside of that, I'll pull for you guys. So.
It'd just be 4 hours. It's okay. It's just during the game.
4 hours.
4 hours? Well, man, 4 hours of just being complete enemies. I don't know if I can do that.
Hey, all right. Well,
I'd let you know. I'll talk my talk.
Yeah, good.
Well, that's our show for you guys. We did run a little long. We went 5 minutes over because we started at 10:55 and it's now 12:05. But
All right,
hope you guys enjoyed. And we will be back next Sunday for another edition of Gridiron Gurus. We'll see what that show entails because we don't know yet. You know, it's mostly about what happens throughout the football week. And I mean, we've got some things picking up, but still it might be a lighter show next week. So hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.